Welcome to Sound the Horne Sports Show. I'm so excited to host this groundbreaking program that will broaden the Jackson sports scene's awareness regionally and nationally. My goal is to highlight sports in Jackson, the state of Mississippi, and nationally by utilizing my 25 years of Division I athletic administration knowledge, and my guests will be experienced leaders in sports. The guests on the show will share a behind-the-scenes, unique, and informative glance of the world of sports. Please join me every Monday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WeBelieveDigital.com. Welcome to the Sound the Horne Sports Show. Today is our premiere broadcast. Our first guest is Coach Mo Williams, head basketball coach at Jackson State University. Coach, welcome to Jackson, or just can I say welcome back home?
Hey, welcome home sounds tremendous, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. I know this is your first show, and it's a pleasure for me to be the one that you call.
Well, I'm honored to have you on, and we've had conversations over the years.
Okay.
And I know that it's a blessing for you to be back in Jackson, but one thing I want to ask you is, how have the first few days been with you and your family coming back home?
I mean, it's been exciting. You know, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brothers, niece, nephews, real close friends, people that I just know, just growing up throughout my years coming up in Jackson. Everybody's here, and just getting all the congratulations, just people being proud of you, happy for you. That never gets old, for one. But it's great to be a part of something that's so exciting. Obviously the left is, rest up to me. I got to go out and put a product on the floor that's going to, obviously win basketball games, because nothing else matters if you don't win basketball games.
Well, I think that just knowing your career over the years and what you've been able to do, I feel that you should have a challenge with that. And one thing that I thought about when I was preparing for the show is the richness of basketball we've had in the state of Mississippi. It hadn't been as prevalent, but you had a number of accolades while you were in high school. So when you reminisce on those days, what are some of the things that stand out in your mind about your high school career here in Jackson?
Well, obviously, people know that A.D. Robinson and our relationship, but it started as teammates at Murrah, just playing on such good teams there, starting as a freshman. Ashley and that crew all were seniors. And I was a freshman on that team, and their team was predominantly seniors. 6 seniors played, and I was a freshman and 1 junior. And, I played a lot of minutes, and playing with that group, that was probably my most fulfilling year, as a freshman. And my 10th and 11th and 12th grade year were all good, all great, rather. But that was the year that I met all my best friends that are best friends today was on that team. And that was my most memorable moment, being in high school. That's outside of going to the state tournament back to back. That's outside of being a McDonald's All-American, winning, Mississippi State Gatorade Player of the Year. All those things are great, and I cherish those moments for the rest of my life. But the relationships that I built as a freshman on that high school team, I mean, 4 of those seniors that was on that team are my best friends to this day. And those are the memories I always take with that crew, especially in high school.
I think you mentioned something that's very unique, because a number of us say that when we go to college, that's where we kind of meet our friends. And I can echo what you're saying. Some of my closest friends, I have a friend of mine that we've been friends since daycare.
Yeah.
So we've been friends for over 50 years.
Exactly.
So it makes a big difference.
It do.
But one thing that I'd like to ask you, when you take a look at your time when you played ball in high school, who was your toughest competitor when you were in high school? That's
a good question. I mean, when I came up, Jim Hill was pretty good. They had a good friend of mine, Mario Joyner. I don't know if everybody remember Mario Joyner. He was kind of my nemesis, right? We was kind of the 2 top guards in the state. At that time, we was in the same class. And, our sophomore, junior year, we was good. But, it was other seniors and things like that. But when we became seniors, it was me and him. It was me and him going neck and neck. And we played each other twice that year. And it was just a battle, because Jim Hill had a real good team. So I give Mario Joyner, those accolades. Then name ain't coming up to me, and it's crazy. I can't think his name. He was a year below me. Went to Clinton. Jerikas
Ward.
No, Jerikas. It ain't Singleton. I don't want to give his last name wrong, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Clinton with the Southern Miss, had a good career at Southern Miss. He's doing music now, and it's baffling me that his name is not ringing a bell, but he was tough. Someone that, every time he saw me, because I was a year ahead of him, I had the accolades. So when he saw me, he was looking at his chops just to prove himself, and he always gave me a tough battle.
I think the thing that a lot of people don't know, and we're hoping that as this show grows, people nationally will realize how powerful Jackson high school basketball had been.
Oh, man. So I just named a couple guys.
Yeah, but
I can go down the line.
Take a little time and take a little time to go down memory lane.
Goodness, man. You talk about we battling against Lanier. They got little James Thomas, 5'9", but he going to go get you 30 anytime you want. They got Darius Rice on their team. He's 6'11", 7 foot. Going. Then I ain't even talked about the Provine posse yet. With Super Dave. They got Terrell. They got Jay Reed. They got Aaron Harper. Man, that crew was tough. So when you just go down the line, Callaway was tough. Mario Miles. Man, that crew. Forest Hill had a nice team. It was just, the city was just real deep at the time. I'm just talking about the city. I ain't even got out the city yet. And anytime you play the city game, packed house, because it's a battle. I even brought up Wingfield. They had guards over there. Jim Hill I spoke about. They had more than Mario Joyner. They had Corey Moore as a guard over there. They had Big Harold over there. He's 6'7", 6'6". So the city was really good basketball, good competition, and we all knew each other because we all grew up together playing AAU basketball together on the same team, and then we go to our high schools and we just competed against each other, and it was definitely a fun time. All those times you just love the game of basketball. You just doing things that's fulfill your dreams, and competing against these guys on a daily basis, competing against these guys during our high school, and even in the summertime playing with them or playing against them, they definitely made me the player that I am. When I left Jackson to go compete nationally in those national camps I went to, a national tournament I went to, I was ready to go. I didn't fear nobody. I felt like, the talent that I was playing against on a daily basis, some of these guys that I'm playing against that they saying rank, hey, I can bring a few guys from the crib that, from a nice neighborhood. I'm just saying nice neighborhood. From a nice neighborhood, they don't get out. So they don't have the same avenues I got. So just imagine if they was, living in California, living in a big city where they have more opportunity to be seen and be known, or get on a circuit team or get on a big time team where they can go travel from state to state. A lot of these guys around here didn't have that opportunity, but that ain't the reason that they didn't make it or they didn't go to a Power 5 school or a Division I school. It's a lot of guys, went to JUCO route because they was under recruited and things like that. And those guys, I'm telling you, they are good. Just as good. There's a lot of guys that I played with in college or against. And I always have a different bragging right, especially when I was in college, when I was in the pros. I always big up Mississippi. Like, man, listen, we got talent. We got per capita, per person. Oh, we the best. Y'all got 6 million people, to choose from. We don't have that many. And the track record that we've shown, with guys, we just take Mississippi as a whole. You talking about myself, you talking about a Monte Ellis, you talking about an Al Jefferson, you talking about all the Travis Outlaw. I can go down the line, Malik Newman, like all these guys that, really, really took their level of play to another level, especially coming out of Mississippi.
Well, I like that you mentioned those names because a lot of times people don't realize at that time some of the best basketball in the world was played here.
Absolutely.
And there were so many people that you had leaving high school going to the pros. And I think it prepared a number of those players to have longevity as well.
Exactly.
In the pros. And you made me think about something. It resonated with me. I grew up in a small town in South Georgia. And I didn't get any looks until I went to, at that time, what was called BC camp.
Mm-hmm.
If I wouldn't have gone, nobody would have known about me. So I understand what you're saying about the number of people that are here that go unseen.
Exactly.
And it's a blessing to be in that era where you can have that opportunity to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So you brought up something that I was going to ask you about. When you take a look at choosing Alabama, how was that recruiting process, and then why Alabama?
And that's a great question, because that's the trajectory of how I was recruited is totally different now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, social media is a big influence. You know, obviously just with the notoriety, and I think that was the biggest knock on, you know, our level, right?
Mm-hmm.
We weren't getting the notoriety. So a kid wants to be seen. They want to be on TV. They want to get the publishing in the paper. They want to get all those accolades, all those things that's coming to them. If they're going to bring their talents, they want talent coming back to them with the things that they can provide, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you know, the Jackson States, the Southerns, the, you know, North Carolina Centrals, it's hard for them to even put those guys in that sector, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those things has changed, you know, with social media and just with visibility. And now you see a lot of SWAC schools. We're on TV.
Yeah.
We're on national TV. We didn't have the ESPN Plus app where you can go watch every single game,
mm-hmm.
right? You just didn't know. You had to just follow scores.
Mm-hmm.
So for me choosing Alabama, the crazy thing about it, I never got an offer, you know, from a Jackson State, from
mm-hmm.
an Alcorn, from
mm-hmm.
a Valley, because at that time the mindset was, well, why are we wasting our resources on this kid and we know we can't get him,
mm-hmm.
right? And you're talking about a kid that mom graduated from Jackson State in '81. Dad attended Jackson State where he met my mom. Long time fans of Jackson State, have been to every football game damn near since I've been able to walk and talk. My little brother went to Jackson State, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was in our family already. You know, you never know. You swing for the fences, hey, you never know what
mm-hmm.
might happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that never happened. And I'm talking about a guy like myself that used to go to Jackson State and hoop with the team while I was in high school,
mm-hmm.
right? I'm around the school all the time. Our games were so big at Murrah, so if it's a big city game, we don't play it at Murrah. Guess what we play it at?
Exactly.
Jackson State. You know, so it's a different time.
Yeah.
You know, so that's when I started talking about, you know, those players, you know, and Deion said, hey, man, it's time to come home.
Okay.
You know, it's time to come home. And saying that, all they're saying is we can do what you need,
mm-hmm.
right? You know, we're not in a situation where we can't do it, so we don't even want to waste our time or yours,
mm-hmm.
right? So no, I'm recruiting you because I can offer you exactly what you're looking for. You know, dealing with the NILs now, you know, dealing with all these things that came to fruition, you know, that can only help empower the guys like us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can go and compete, you know, with the Power Fives for players, right? We can go compete in those capacities, and now you're getting corporations, now you're getting all these type of businesses that support programs and things like that. Now they're starting to shift toward, you know, HBCUs or lower resource type programs, and they're helping them, and it's a big deal, and it helps in big ways. Now you're redoing locker rooms, right? You're building football facilities. You know, you giving cost of attendance. You know, you're doing all those little things that means a whole lot to a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest difference in what has been and what is now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're able to show these kids, because they still have a mindset, but you change their mind when they actually can come on campus and see, wait a minute, man, it's a nice arena. Man, it's a nice locker room. Man, they feed us good. Man, we live right here. Oh, wow. Oh, that's our coach? Oh, let me think this might not be a bad idea, you know? And I think those mind frames with leadership understands what's important. And I always say this, you know, sports is one aspect of a university that can drive up enrollment.
Oh yeah. I think if you take a look at those schools that, if you remember Coastal Carolina back in the day,
mm-hmm.
Coastal Carolina, their enrollment went up. You take a look at Florida Gulf Coast,
mm-hmm.
theirs went up as well.
I can give you one better.
What?
Gonzaga.
Oh yeah, yes.
Oh
That's
man, when they
amazing.
started number one in the country, all of a sudden, man, they enroll me just every year, every year, every year.
And it makes a big difference. That's where I would always tell people, athletics is the front porch to the university, and you don't want an old raggedy chair on your front porch.
That's right.
You know, you want your furniture on the front porch to be the nicest. So as we get ready to end and go out and prepare for our second quarter, after we end the first quarter, what we would like you to do is we have our sponsor that's coming up, and we want to make sure that today's sponsor is Earth Blend Coffee.
Socrates Garrett, ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates.
You gonna run it back?
Yeah, we'll take it back to the 22nd.
Yeah, you got to get me back up there.
Hold on. All right, I'll give you a 3 count. Go ahead and read.
Today's show is sponsored by earthblendcoffee.com. Use the link in the description box to place your order now. Welcome back. Oh, shit. Let me read it
Socrates
again.
Garrett, ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled.
The timer kind of threw me off. Just let me know when.
When you start seeing it flash.
Today's show is sponsored by earthblendcoffee.global. Use the link in the description box to place your order now. We'll be right back.
Socrates Garrett, ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. Socrates Garrett, ENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using Socrates Garrett, ENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
Welcome back to the second quarter as we visit with the new Jackson State men's basketball coach, Coach Mo Williams. I want to kind of continue the conversation about your transition over to Alabama from leaving Jackson. Then also we're going to talk a little bit about your time at Alabama as well. So who was your head coach when you played at Alabama?
Mark Godfrey.
Mark Godfrey. Can you believe I played against Mark Godfrey?
Did you?
I played Mark Godfrey, Jim Farmer.
Yeah, 87. You that 87, 88, 89. You somewhere around there.
No, 82, 86. I came
So you caught him at the beginning.
Caught him at the beginning. Yeah, but
because he was 84 to 88.
88, and Farmer was 82 to 86. Tell me a little bit about your time there with Godfrey and how that Alabama experience was for you.
I mean, it was great. You know, he recruited me hard. And I actually I committed to him my junior year in high school. So that's how much I felt comfortable with his recruiting process, on how he recruited me, things he told me, things that he said he was going to do for me as far as position he was going to put me in on the court, how I was going to play, how much I was going to play. Those things was told to me, and everything sounded good. Obviously, you never know until you get there. But the day I stepped on campus, and one thing, and I use this as I recruit, I never tell a player they're going to start. I don't care how good you are. He never told me I was going to start. He'd tell me, hey, I ain't going to tell you you're going to start. You know, you got to come and earn it. The first day of practice, I was starting. But the experience was great. Yeah. He let me play. I love the system that we played in. I run a similar system. That's how much I love it. I had a lot of success in it. And he's a coach's coach, right? He's a coach's coach. I mean, I'm talking about he knows how to get the best out of his players. And he kind of let his players, you know, obviously be mature young men. You know, he don't hold your hand. You know, if you're making mistakes and you don't want to do things the right way, to some degree, he kind of he'll go find someone else that wants the opportunity. 'Cause he's big on, this is a privilege, and I use that too. Hey, having a scholarship at a Division I level, it's a privilege, guys, because you sitting here. If you want to take it for granted, I can show you my email. From guys that's in my email, that's emailing every single day, Coach, hey, I just need an opportunity. I can do anything you want me to do on the basketball court, whatever you need. I just need an opportunity. Those guys can't play dead half the time. But guess what? They'll relish and kill themselves to be in your opportunity. And you sitting here taking it for granted like we owe you a favor. And that's what his approach was. And he recruited guys like myself that was self-efficient. You didn't have to tell me to go get in the gym. You didn't have to tell me to go work out outside of the practice hours, right? You couldn't tell me to go to class. You couldn't tell me to not, to stay out the club. You didn't have to tell me those things. I was already focused and knew where it was, and he had enough leaders like myself that can police, the rest of the team. And getting back to, how close I was with my high school team, I was just as close with my college friends, and my college teammates, and it's a reason we won. My freshman year, we won the SEC. I was SEC freshman of the year, National AP freshman of the year. We won the SEC. The last time they've done it was 2 years ago, and before that, it was us. 2001, we won it, and they just won it again in 2019-20. And, that lets you know how important it is to lay everything on the line and receive those type of championship type endeavors, right? And we was a part of teams that did that, and we obviously my sophomore year, we was number 1 in the country. The only time University of Alabama has ever been ranked number 1 in the country. So my experience, and I was only there 2 years, so my experience with Mark Godfrey was tremendous, and we always kept in touch. He always called me from time to time. We always stayed in touch, which led to my first coaching job. I was assistant coach for him before I got the Alabama State head coaching job for 2 years with him in Northridge. So he came back full circle, and getting that opportunity obviously prepared me for the opportunity that I have now. It taught me a lot about what it takes to be a college coach, understanding, all the logistics, all the administrative needs, and things like that. He just brought me along, meetings that I didn't supposed to be in, just the head coach should be in. He brought me with him. Just for me to sit there and hear what's going on, how he handling the AD, how he talking to the president, how he's mingling with the foundation, right? How he understanding how to raise money in certain ways and get people involved and get fan support, obviously getting student support, all those little things, and understanding academically what works, right? Study hours, how we gonna do it, what we doing on the road, how we doing this, how we feeding them, how we doing that, how we working out, how we practicing. So the things he done for me, outside of recruiting me, as a sophomore, freshman in high school, I mean, he's touched my life in different areas, where I can look back, when I'm 60, 70 years old and know that he's been a blessing to me just for the opportunities he's given me in my life as an 18-year-old, then coming back as a 35-year-old young adult that's trying to find his way, and what he want to do, and I want to get into coaching. And he gave me another avenue to get to another dream that I wanted to accomplish.
The thing is amazing. It used to be where people talked about the most influential person in their life was their coach. You hadn't heard that much, but it's great to hear you talk about that, because I think that's what our coaches and administrators need to realize. We bring in, particularly at the college level, we're bringing in babies and turn them into men and women. And it sounds like you had a great experience in Alabama, but having that experience, how did that prepare you for the pros?
Well, it nothing prepares you for the pros. Let me make that clear. I'm going to say that again. Nothing prepares you for the pros, right? But the situation you're in, as far as the caliber of basketball I was playing, the way I was being played, and the opportunities I was given, that prepared me for the pros because I had pressure on me. I had to perform. I was doing the fire as a freshman on a really good basketball team, and I had to be consistent every night. So in the pros, you have to be consistent, every night, right? Like I said, our coach don't hold our hand. So if you want to go out and do all the bad things and not be focused on what's important, one of my favorite quotes is, the most important thing always has to be the most important thing, right? So if it ain't the important thing, then you probably won't be a pro. And it ain't nothing he gonna do to help you get a pro. You gotta want to be a pro. He's gonna put you in position to get everything you need to get accomplished. So I think by him indirectly coaching style or how he treats his players, that prepared me, probably to answer your question, that probably prepared me to be a pro. Because when you're a pro, now you got to go work out on your own, right? You got to do things. You got to take care of your body. You got to eat good. It ain't nobody telling you what to do or setting it up for you. So those things I was able to do because I was drafted at 20, and I went to Utah. And yes, I went and traveled and played here and played there, but I've never been that far from home by myself. 20 years old, nobody moved me. No, my mom didn't move me. I didn't have 17 homeboys that moved with me. No, I didn't have that my rookie year. First of all, I didn't have enough money to take care of that many people. I'm still trying to find my way. I'm up in Utah by myself, right? And I had to figure out, obviously how I'm going to live up to my dream. And I took the bull by the horns and did everything I was supposed to do. I stayed in the gym. I stayed out of trouble. Wasn't a big drinker, didn't do no smoke. Like, it was just a mindset. And I tell people all the time, a championship mindset is what I have, right? A championship mindset is what my team will have. And a championship mindset is not just about winning championship. And I'm going to rephrase it. It ain't about winning championship, but it is, right? And the only way you win a championship, and you got to have a championship mindset. And if you have a championship mindset, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go to class. I don't have to worry about that. You got a championship mindset. You want to be a champ in everything you do. I don't have to worry about you going to study hall because you got a championship mindset. You know what's important, right? I don't have to worry about when the ball on the floor and it's you and me. That's my ball. I'm getting that ball. That's a championship mindset, right? Somebody driving in the lane and I got to step over and take a charge. I'm going to take that charge because I have a championship mindset because I want to be the best at what I want to do, right? And if you have a championship mindset, not only do that prepare you to go win a championship in the game of basketball, but you become a championship in the game of life because you have a championship mindset. Now you become a better husband. Now you become a better father, right? Now you become a better mentor to the youth that's coming up because you have a championship mindset. You want to do everything the right way and the best, right? You're not going to take shortcuts. You cannot become a champion by taking shortcuts. You can't become a champion by taking days off. So most important thing is having a championship mindset because if you have a championship mindset, at the end of the day, you will be a champion.
Well, Coach, I tell you one thing, it's just so pitiful I don't have any more eligibility left because I think what I'm listening to is a great recruiting message that you can share with your team in the recruits that you go after. In your mind, what is your first 90 days going to look like as you get started?
Well, obviously, I'm from here. This home. So, obviously, from the door, reacclimate myself with everybody I know, getting them involved in the fold, right? Hey, this is what we want you supporting. We want you here. Got people that supporting, people that wasn't, that just support me. We all support one cause. On campus, obviously, just getting to know, put my hands on everybody, understanding that, getting the recruiting calendar together, understanding what's important with the guys I have coming back, making sure that I'm getting them, I'm touching them and understanding. My staff is most important, which that is developing. They're coming in, in a few days or a month or two, like all that's in place. But the most important thing is just putting a plan together and understanding where we're going to be, who we want, how we want to pursue it, right? We want to make sure everything's in place as far as what we want to do for kids. Cost of attendance is big, right? Giving them the experience of not the basketball part, just the experience of school. And that's one thing I can say. When I went to college, the basketball was great, but my experience at the university is something I cherish for the rest of my life. I actually had fun going to that program, going to that school. So I want that to be the same thing at Jackson State. Not only are we going to win basketball and be a championship team and have a championship mindset, but when those guys leave the program and go professional or go work at a job with that same mindset, they're always going to come back and support because of their experience, right? They ain't just come and I'm just come play basketball, but I really don't mess with the coach or the school. You'll never see those guys again. So you always want to get those guys a great experience. So the first 90 days, to answer your question, is just developing that championship mindset through everything under the sun of the experience of being a Jack State athlete, student athlete, just making sure everything in place, making sure we got the right academic support, making sure we understanding that these kids need to make sure they graduate, right? So all these things that we're putting up my first 90 days is making sure I understand every single aspect of what the well-being of my athlete, what they're going to endure, what they're going to incur when they on campus over their time, their 3 to 4 to 5 years with me.
Well, that's been great. Our second quarter is almost up. What I'd like for you to do, is there any words that you might want to share to the I Love Nation on what they can prepare for?
Absolutely. You know, I'm excited to be here, but at the same time, we always need your support. You know, obviously, any support will help. I don't care if it's a penny. I don't care if it's a million. We can make it do what it do. And we always value the support. I'm from Jackson. I've been a supporter of Jackson State, you know, all my career. I've done things for them, donated things to them. Always been a fan because obviously my family came up there. So I'm a supporter of Jackson State. By me being the head coach there, you know, it was the best day of my life, one of the best days of my life. It's a dream job. I plan on being here for a long time. So I want the support to come in so we can keep this thing rolling and give these kids the greatest experience that they can always have.
Well, thanks so much for being our first guest. And today's show is sponsored by Earthblend Coffee .global. Use the link in the description box to place your order now. We'll be right back.
SGECOVIDsolutions.com is paving the way forward for a safer city government, delivering cutting-edge biosecurity and biosafety protocols developed internationally by top virologists and scientists using an all-natural cleaning solution, killing COVID-19 on contact like no other product on the international market. For more information, please call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at SGECOVIDsolutions.com. Let SGECOVIDsolutions.com provide innovative rapid facilities testing and world-class state-of-the-art biorisk safety protocols for all of your coronavirus needs. Call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at SGECOVIDsolutions.com.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at webelieve.global.
One, two.
Welcome back from the break. Our second guest is A.D. Ashley Robinson from Jackson State University. Welcome to our show, Ashley.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
One thing that I would like to just share with our viewers is Ashley needs to be congratulated for being one of the individuals named as AD of the Year by NACTA. Mm-hmm. That's a well-deserved honor. I've worked with you for a number of years, and I just want to publicly congratulate you on that. And just tell me how you feel about being recognized that way.
You know, first I want to say thank you, and it's a big accomplishment. This is not my award, it's our award. You know, Jackson State University, this goes to the leadership of President Hudson. It goes to my coaches, my administrators, my student athletes. You know, I couldn't make these accomplishments without them. So, you know, I want to say thank you to them for believing in the vision that I have for Jackson State University athletics, but also, assisting and coming together as one to make sure that we take Jackson State University to the next level. And this award is big. I think it's not only big for me, but it's big for Jackson State University. And I cannot do it without my staff, my coaches, my student athletes, my passionate alumni, the city of Jackson, the state of Mississippi. And I want to tell everyone thank you for their support and supporting us and making sure that we continue to grow and take Jackson State to the next level and build on the tradition and blaze new trails at Jackson State University.
Well, from a personal note, I know how hard you work, and you deserve that recognition. And I think the thing that young people need to take a look at and see that it's not easy.
Right.
But you can have fun doing it. And that's one thing that I know you do, and I've had a chance to be around your staff, and it's easier when you're having fun.
Right.
So why don't you talk about your staff a little bit and just kind of give us a little insight of your staff?
I'm going to echo what you said earlier about having fun. It's not one morning that I get up and I love going to work. I love what I do. I love seeing smiles on my staff face. I love seeing smiles on our student athletes' face. And for us, for my staff and my coaches, it's all about, those student athletes and that great experience. And of course, you have to have good administrators. You have to have good coaches. And my administrators under my watch, our goal is to support our coaches and our student athletes and give them what they need to be successful. My assistant vice president, Elise Wells Gilbert, she runs my day-to-day. I mean, she handles all my day-to-day operations along with my associate ADs, which I have 3 of those. Hakeem McCullen, which oversee compliance and academics, Dr. Stott, which does internal and external operations, and then Dwayne Lewis, who's over PR and sports media. And those are my executive staff, along with a host of directors that they have, to make sure that the day-to-day process works. Strength and conditioning, sports medicine, equipment managers, all those areas, nutrition, all those areas very, very important in being successful when you're talking about the day-to-day and support of the student athlete and the welfare of the student athlete. And staffing is important. Yeah. You have to have a great administration. You have to have a great team. You can't do the things that you need to do for your coaches and your student athletes to be successful. So for us, our theme is building on tradition and blazing new trails. And we want to bring structure, we want to bring organization, we want to have great policies and procedures in place, but we want to have things in place to support our coaches and our student athletes to help them be successful. And our goal is to graduate our student athletes and also to win championships. And that's what we want to do. And we want to make sure that they have the best experience. I feel like college should be your best experience. The best 4 years of my life was college. And we want to make sure those students have the great experience. And not only our student athletes, all our students, create that atmosphere, coming to the games and supporting our student athletes and creating a great atmosphere and enrollment for Jackson State University. So that's what it's all about. I think it's all about a team and coming together, and you got to have great people and great staff around you. And start, in athletics is very big when you have a president that really supports athletics. I mean, anybody that's been in this role, AD Horne, you've been in this role, and I said AD Horne because he's definitely AD, and you've done some great things. You've been in this role, and you have a president that really supports you. That's big. That's really, really big, and we have great leadership at Jackson State. President Hudson really values not only athletics, but he values the whole campus. And he understands Jackson State University. He's a native son from Jackson, so he understands that. And then having great administrators around you and knowing that the goal is to support our coaches and our student athletes. And then having great coaches. I'm a little different. I like aggressive coaches. I feel like if you're a quiet coach, you're not going to be successful. I like the fiery, aggressive coaches because, in this generation, you got to have energy, with these kids. So, all my coaches, a lot of ADs and a lot of people are afraid of that. But, I accept the challenge. I like that. They push me, we push them. And it's not all about, the managing piece and everybody wants to manage. It's all about working together. When you're building a program, you have to work together. One of my mentors from Arkansas, Hunter Utachek, he always tell me we're servants. We're servants for our coaches and our student athletes. And if you don't have that type of attitude, you won't be successful in this business. And I tell people that all the time. When your coaches are successful and your student athletes are successful, the institution is successful. Jackson State is successful. Jackson State is on the national stage. So for me, my goal is coming in here and then coming back home. Bringing the experience back home. When you turn the TV on, I want to see Jackson State University. When you turn the radio on, I want to hear about Jackson State University. And when you definitely open that Clarion Ledger, if you're from Jackson newspaper, I want to see Jackson State University, and that's the goal. And we're definitely headed in that direction. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see the things that we've done. It's exciting to see what we've done since 2018. And I have great administrators. And you're talking about staff. I mean, you can't do the job of AD. I tell people, if you're AD and you're in the office and you're doing day-to-day stuff all day, I mean, you can't support your program. You're struggling. You got to have a good staff, because you got to get out and you got to be doing some networking. You got to be meeting with sponsors. You got to be helping raising money. I just hired Mo Williams. He got a list of stuff that he wants. So I have to go out and support that and give him what he needs to be successful.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give a little people, because I wanted to bring in your high school time. Mo talked about it a little bit. Right. I've known you for a while. Right. So when you talk about the fiery side, we're gonna go from Merle to Valley. Then we're gonna come back to Jackson State. Right. So tell me about your time at Merle.
My time at Merle, I had a really good story at Merle. Coming in my 9th grade year, played at Merle, and I come back my 10th grade year and I get cut. I'm told I'm too short to play, he had, another point guard before me, but, that really motivated me. And I had parents to push me. I didn't have my mom and dad and say, oh, I'm about to call the coach. And I'm sitting there to see what's going on. My mom looked me in the eye, my dad, look, son, you got to work. If you got to show people who you are. Height don't mean anything. And that was one of my first things as a person. Growing up, 19th grade, and everyone looks at you and you the littlest man. Even happened in junior high. You the littlest man out there, and it's like no way. So that 10th grade year, I worked really, really hard. I came back my 11th grade year and made the team. Didn't start, but played. And to be honest, I really only played one full year of high school basketball. And came my 12th grade year, and I mean, played 40 minutes, knocked it out the box, and it was those work ethics that's really saying, and from those players from 11th grade to 12th grade, it only was a couple that got D1 offers. Most of those players that was before me, they either went, NAIA or they went junior college. And, I was able to have a career at when someone told me, hey, there's no way that you ever play basketball on the next level. And then in that 12th grade, we was probably 22-5, 22-6. Didn't win a championship that year, and we in the 12th grade, and we got this little joker from the 9th grade, Mo Williams, come up. Everybody talking about Maurice Williams, and I saw him play one time, and I was a leader, and he was on the 9th grade team, and I begged our coach. Coach put him on our team. I want to say maybe second half of the season. And if Mo would have been on that team from the beginning, we probably would have won a championship that year, because we was one guard down. And by the time he got in and got the chemistry, I think we lost to Runner Dupree. At the time, I think it was, who did he play for? Down on the coast here. I'll never forget, it was district. We played them at Forest Hill, and Mo came in and gave us a big spark. And if he would have played that whole year, there's no doubt we'd have won a championship. And you come back, years after that, and you see the things that he's done and the type of player that he was. I mean, you're talking about one of those guards. Not only, you look at young talent, but, Mo was a sport basketball player. I mean, he knew basketball. He everything about him, just his instinct of what he was doing. He's always at the right place at the right time. He know how to put you in position. He just did everything right. And when you saw him in 9th grade, we got to have him on our team. We definitely got to have him. So, playing with him and we grow together, and we became best friends, and we started from 9th grade, and I went on to Valley, and another story about us, he went to Alabama and I went to Valley. His freshman year, we had an opportunity to play in the Garden Classic together. Came down, and my teammate D. Jamel Jackson and our coach got into the class, and we was able to play against each other. And I'll never forget those times. Those were great times that we had, and we was able to fellowship, and it's good to always play against your high school teammate. But, we've been close ever since, and we've stayed in contact, and Mo has always been that sport point guard. You knew he was going to be a coach. You just knew he was going to be a great basketball player. He always had a chip on his shoulder. But, one thing that, a lot of these young kids, everybody wants to go to the NBA. everybody wants to graduate and make $100,000, but everybody don't want to get up 4 or 5 in the morning and do what they got to do to get there. I saw Mo Williams get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, work out, play ball, go to class, get out of school, work out, play ball. I saw him do it every single day. I saw it. Nobody told me. We saw it, and we knew then he was going to the NBA. We knew in high school. I knew in 10th, 11th grade that he was going to be that type of player, and a great attitude. He had a great, good person to be around, and you just knew that that he definitely was going. Things was going to happen, and it was a journey for him.
But and one thing, because we're getting ready to close out this third quarter, but the reason I bring that up because people need to know why you have that spark you have as well. That's we've known each other for a while. That's the first time you told me that story about high school basketball. Right. But you played for Coach Cribb.
Coach Cribb, right.
At Valley. How was that experience?
Great experience. Great experience. I get there as a freshman, and I always had a chip on my shoulder. Whether I get there, I always got to prove myself. Every day in practice, every game I go to, I always got to prove myself. And anybody know me, when we start the game, I'm gonna tell you, hey, it's gonna be a long day today. It's gonna be a long day, and people look at me, oh man, it's a little 4 feet. What he's gonna do? But I left Valley. Career assist leader in the Hall of Fame. Had an opportunity to go overseas. I didn't stay there but 30 days, but I went. You went. So but it was a great experience for me. I worked very hard. Coach Tripp really pushed me. And we played some good basketball. And I always had a chip on my shoulder. I have a chip on my shoulder now. I keep that because I'm big when people tell you can't do something. I got here in 2018 and people told me there's no way you'll turn Jackson State University around. There's no way that you'll bring football back at Jackson State. There's no way you'll win championships at Jackson State. It's just no way. And I take on those challenges. And I love when people tell me I can't do something. I strive on that. I stay up all night and work hard just to show you that this is going to happen. So even with the award today, I'm sitting in my office after we get out of the cabinet, and it comes across my email, and it's like, this is an award that I look at every year, and none of our names are never on there. You're talking about our conference. You never. It's just an award that you hope for. And and you see your mentor on top. You see Hunter on there. FBS, and then you go down to CDF there, and you're like, hold on, is this right? And I'm clicking on it, and I'm like, oh wow. And so it really shows, man, when you work hard and you just stay positive, and you do the right things, and you got to have that drive. And I tell young people all the time, man, stay positive and continue to work hard and be loyal. We're not loyal to our superiors, and we're not loyal to our institutions. We're not loyal to our leaders. And I think that's big. And a lot of young people get off track when they're trying to, build their careers. And through my whole career, it's not one boss can ever say that I was unloyal to them. It's not one boss that would ever say, if they told me to do something, I did it. Even if I didn't want to do it, I did it.
Well, we're heading into the break. He didn't put up. You didn't put up the read.
Give you a little bit more time because he was still going. Let me go ahead and bring you back to.
Bring back to the 20s. Yeah. I'm going with you now. So if I'm watching the clock. So we need to go ahead and shift it. Just shift it. I'm hit the mark.
All right.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
You turn Jackson State University around. There's no way that you'll bring football back at Jackson State. There's no way you'll win championships at Jackson State. It's just, it's just no way. And I take on those challenges. And I love when people tell me I can't do something. I strive on that. I stay up all night and work hard just to show you that this is going to happen. So even with the award today, I'm sitting in my office after we get out of the cabinet, and it comes across my email, and it's like, this is an award that I look at every year, and none of our names are never on there. You're talking about our conference. You never. It's just an award that you hope for. And you see your mentor on top. You see Hunter on there. FBS, and then you go down to CDF there, and you're like, hold on, is this right? And I'm clicking on it, and I'm like, oh wow. And, so it really shows, man, when you work hard and you just stay positive, and you do the right things, and you got to have that drive. And I tell young people all the time, man, stay positive and continue to work hard and be loyal. We're not loyal to our superiors, and we're not loyal to our institutions. We're not loyal to our leaders. And I think that's big. And a lot of young people get off track when they're trying to, build their careers. And through my whole career, it's not one boss can ever say that I was unloyal to them. It's not one boss that would ever say, if they told me to do something, I did it. Even if I didn't want to do it, I did it.
Well, we're heading into the break. He didn't put up. You didn't put up the read.
Give you a little bit more time because he was still going. Let me go ahead and bring you back to.
Bring back to the 20. Yeah. I'm going with you now. So if I'm watching the clock. So we need to go ahead and shift it. Just shift it. Right. I'm gonna hit the mark.
All right. I'm getting ready to come up here now.
The read's still not up though.
There you go.
Scroll it down a little bit more, because the top part's not up there. There we go.
Right.
Just let me know when.
Right.
Today's show is sponsored by EarthBlendCoffee.Global. Use the link in the description box to place your order now. We'll be right back.
New Cannabis Premium Dispensary is providing community health and wellness through CBD and Delta-8. Both CBD and Delta-8 provide an array of health benefits, aiding in appetite, sleep, anxiety, depression, chronic pain, and more. New Cannabis Premium Dispensary provides a variety of CBD and Delta-8 products, including gummies, candies, pre-rolls, pain creams, isolate drops, cartridge pens, and so much more. To learn more about New Cannabis products or to place an order, please call or text 415-465-9292 or visit us online at newcannabis.com and follow us on Instagram at newcannabisjackson.
Advertise on WeBelieve.Global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.Global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter, and we're going to close it out visiting with A.D. Robinson. One thing that we were talking about your relationship with Coach Scribbling and how that has transitioned you into what you do. I've known you for a while,
right?
And I keep learning things as we move forward, but I appreciate your passion. And I think the thing that, if you don't mind telling that story, when I first met you and I came down to Valley, you can't use all the words I use, but try and paraphrase it.
I started in administration. I think this was maybe 2000, maybe 6 and 7. I think Coach, I'll never forget, Coach James Green was the head basketball coach, and I was working in compliance, and then young guy, I probably was 23, 24 years old, and we had they had put me over game day events, and I didn't know anything about game day events. So we getting ready to do game day events, and I called Mr. Horne, and he was at Ole Miss at the time, and I said, hey, he was teammates with Jane Green. I said, come down, and I want you to kind of look at my operation, kind of tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and I'm trying to do hospitality and refreshments, and he basically came down and told me, like, this ain't gonna work. I mean, you got to do better, man. So he gave me a long list, and we started a great relationship. But I took that, and I took everything that he gave me. I never forget, he shot me an email the next day and explained gave me a checklist of everything. And that was my first learning lesson, is being in administration, athletics. And one thing he can tell you, I accepted it and I listened. And when we started a relationship then, and that was 2005, 2006, and we built on that, and we improved our game day environment and improved our courtside seating, and we did receptions for our courtside seating. He showed me a lot of things on how to operate, operational piece, and I thanked him. I always thanked him for that, and that was the first time we met, and I think from that day on, I mean, we stayed in contact and bounced stuff off each other. But that's the type of brotherhood, and that's the type of things that we as athletic administrators. And when you have young people that really want to get into business, the number one thing I want to tell people that want to, that's young and want to be in administration, you got to accept constructive criticism. Because I mean, Derek came in and told up everything that I had. I mean, he like, look, man, this is terrible. You can't do this. And I'm looking at him like, hey, this is all I got to work with. He's like, this ain't gonna work, So, and then he sent me a follow-up with an email, but I was very appreciative, and it really helped me grow. And that was, that's how we met. And from that day on, I mean, we continued to stay in contact. And, he was at Ole Miss at the time, and we followed up probably every other week, if not every week. And he really helped me, when it came to starting my career in athletic administration.
Well, I think the thing that you've always had is that desire to do better, desire to make sure that you can be successful. And Coach Williams and I was talking about it earlier. He said he even feels that as he's coming in and transitioning in. And I think when your staff can be that way, when everybody from the AD down to the secretary that answers everybody's call has the same mindset, you'll be successful. And I've seen that change. I've been in this state since 1982. And to take a look at the leadership at Jackson State and to see right now, you hit it right on the head. You and President Hudson are Jackson born and Jackson bred. So you understand what Jackson needs. And that's what's, I think, to me, that's what's key. And you keep that synergy along with some of the other pieces that you're bringing in, is going to remain successful. Now, one question I used to get a lot, and I want to hear from your perspective. A lot of people don't really understand the differences in those budgets between the FCS and the FBS, and then also how hard it is for an AD at the FCS to be successful. So maybe take a few minutes just to kind of break that down and kind of share that with them.
Well, it's a your FBS football bowl subdivision, and it is what it is when they say bowl subdivision. I mean, you win 6 or 7 games and you get invited to a bowl, and you'll be able to tap into some resources that the FCS cannot tap into. You talking about the conferences. You talking about a distribution from a SEC is 40-50 million, and you talking about a distribution from a FCS is not even 80% of that. But the difference piece is it's a big revenue driven. FBS is a big revenue. I mean, you talking about from ticket sales. You talking about from not just football, from basketball and baseball. You look at it, it's a big difference. And then people look at it. I tell people, I make this joke all the time. You have a lot of people that transition from FBS schools to FCS schools, and they'll come in and say, "Oh man, I raised so much money, man." I said, "Come on over here, and you're gonna work to raise this money. It's gonna be 7 days a week. You're gonna have to really work hard to sell your program and build your program, and you got to bring some structure and organization, because people want to see that before they give. They want to see your alumni base. They want to see what your attendance is. They want to see your website. They want to see what your paradeal is. They want to come to practice and see how your team, your coaches are performing, how they practice, and how you run your program. What kind of structure? Do you follow up? Do you email? Do you follow up on emails? Do you respond? But I challenge. I tell people that all the time. It's easy. You can sit at a desk and raise money at the FBS school, but you sit at a desk at the FCS school and you just watch.
You ain't working long.
You're not at all. So it's a totally different ball game. But I love the challenge. These last 2 years has been really, really good. When you're talking about sitting down, meeting with sponsors, and people really want to support. And I always told people, now's the time. Now's the time. And one thing about A.D. Robinson is nobody gonna ever say that he didn't ask. There's nobody gonna never say that he wasn't aggressive. If it didn't work out, it's just because you just didn't want to give at the particular time. But we get these calls about when nobody asks, nobody can, and I make sure that I always ask. I make sure that I'm always in the room, and I'm trying to build relationships. And sometimes it's not all about revenue. Sometimes it's all about in kind. It's all about building relationships for later on. It's all about having them resources for your coaches and your student athletes. And this could be some things that could really help your program moving forward. So everything is not all about how much money you can give. It's all about sometimes building those relationships and having good names and being good stewards in the city. And also, having coaches that really understand that piece. I tell all my coaches, you're not only a coach, you're a CFO. When I hire you to coach your particular sport, only thing I'm doing is supporting you and giving you what you need. I'm not running no plays. I'm not doing no recruiting. I'm not hiring no staff for you. I'm
not choosing uniforms.
I'm not doing any of that. Only thing I'm doing is supporting you and giving you what you need to be successful. And I think that's some of the things that we have to change. A lot of people come in and we like to, I talked about this earlier, but we like to manage. We like to micromanage. We like to be in control, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work in athletics. You have to build relationships. It's just like a student athlete. You can't holler at that student athlete if you don't build a relationship for him. If you come in the door and the first thing you're doing is it's just like training your child, and raising your child. You have to build relationships with people. And, of course, you're going to have days that, hey, it's going to be some tough times. I need this, we want this. But it's ways of doing that. And I'm all about, supporting our coaches and building relationships. I've always been a fan of building a relationship with my head coaches because I always want them to feel comfortable when things are not so good. It's easy when things are going well. You're winning championships.
And what I wanted to do, because we're getting close to the end of this fourth quarter, you have you have a number of great programs. Your baseball coach has done an awesome job for years. But the most recent has been your women's basketball coach and your football coach. How is it to manage them, and then what are their drivers for success?
You talking about coaches that everything they do, they want to be perfect in. They want to be perfect. Coach Reed, Coach Prime, very aggressive, and you can tell why they're successful. It starts at 5 or 6 every morning and ends at 9 or 10 at night, and they're aggressive every day. They're fighting for their program. They're fighting for their student athletes. They're out here recruiting. They're really putting in the work. They're in the gym. They're watching film. They're breaking it down. They're meeting with their kids. And if you see their day-to-day operation, I tell people all the time, come sit down and just look at what they do every single day. And then you're talking about, besides that, great character, great integrity, just great individuals, and very, very aggressive. They're very aggressive, and it shows on the court. It shows in their coaching. It shows, I tell people this all the time. Great coaches make adjustments. I judge you on what's going to happen after halftime when they figure you out. What's going to happen when you play 10 games and you're successful and everybody watching film? Are you going to run the same play you've been running all year? Or you're going to make some adjustments? And I got coaches that make adjustments. All 16 sports. We're looking at our success that we have. We got coaches that really make adjustments. They know how to make in-game changes. You got some coaches, and I'm gonna play the 2-3 zone, whether I'm winning by 20 or losing by 20. You know, you come out, you know, we might play man one day, zone the next day, and then look out, man, we playing a 1-3-1. Oh, we playing a matchup, you know, and that's how you know you got good coaches, when they can make adjustments and when they plan and they watch film for that particular game. You know, I want to see something different every game. You know, we want to be consistent in winning, but we got to be consistent in putting in the work. And I can't say enough about, you know, all of my coaches, but you know, you see the success of Coach Prime and Coach Reed. I mean, you know, a story about Coach Reed, I know we're wrapping up, but the last time Jackson State was successful in women's basketball, Coach Reed was the assistant coach in 2007. You know, a lot of people don't know that story, but we hadn't won since 2007. She was the assistant coach then, and she came back here, and I mean, she's done great things, and I just love to see her work. I love to see her interact with her staff. I love her attitude. I love her relationship with her kids, and she fights for a program. She fights for her student athletes, and she want to make sure that they get the best experience, and that's what it's about. You know, when you got a coach, I tell my coaches all the time, if you quiet, you're not asking me for anything, I'm starting to worry about you. I'm really starting to worry about you, because you got to be aggressive. Yeah. You want your kids to be aggressive, you got to be aggressive. So, you know, I can't say enough about Coach Reed. And again, born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. Again, you know, went to one of the best high schools in Jackson, you know, Murrah High School. So, you know, which is only one high school in Jackson, you know, but you know, very excited about that. Yeah. Very excited about all our programs, you know, really doing well, and I want to thank our coach for that as well.
Well, we're getting close to the end of the show. I want to thank Coach Williams. I also want to thank A.D. Robinson. We're excited, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next show.
The Horne Sports Show. I'm so excited to
I gotta
host
work
this
on that.
groundbreaking program.
We good, Cedric? Welcome to Sound the Horne Sports Show. I'm so excited to host this groundbreaking program that will broaden the Jackson sports scene's awareness regionally and nationally. My goal is to highlight sports in Jackson, the state of Mississippi, and nationally by utilizing my 25 years of Division I athletic administration knowledge, and my guests will be experienced leaders in sports. The guests on the show will share a behind-the-scenes, unique, and informative glance of the world of sports. Please join me every Monday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WeBelieveDigital.com.